Hey everyone, look around you. What do you see? Now, what if I told you there's a hidden world teeming with life right under our noses, even inside us, that's totally invisible? That's what we're diving into today. Microorganisms. These tiny, tiny living things are everywhere. But are they good guys or bad guys? Are friends helping us out, like maybe the ones that make yogurt yummy? Or are they foes, like that nasty virus causing colds, or bacteria making us sick? Look at these pictures. A virus, a bacterium, maybe some yeast and algae. They come in all shapes and sizes. Today, we explore this amazing microscopic world and discover why they are both friend and foe. So what exactly are these mysterious microorganisms? You know plants and animals, right? We can see them. But microorganisms, or microbes as we also call them, are different. They are living organisms that are so incredibly small, you usually can't see them with just your eyes. Think super, super tiny. Have you ever left bread out too long and seen fuzzy grayish-white patches grow on it? That's a fungus, a type of microbe. You might see tiny black dots if you use a magnifying glass. But to really see most microbes clearly, like these bacteria in a petri dish or under the lens, we need a powerful tool, the microscope. How do we even know these invisible creatures are real if we can't see them? Well, scientists do simple activities. Imagine taking a drop of water from a pond or mixing a bit of soil with water and putting it under a microscope. What would you find? Just like in these pictures, you'd see tiny little organisms swimming, wiggling, and moving around. It's like discovering a hidden universe. These experiments prove that water and soil are absolutely packed with tiny living things. The big conclusion? Microorganisms aren't just in labs or on old bread. They are truly everywhere. In the air, in water, in soil, on surfaces, everywhere. Okay. Microorganism is a big umbrella term. Let's meet the main families or major groups in this invisible world. First up, we have bacteria. You've probably heard of them. They come in different shapes like rods, spheres, or spirals. Then there are fungi. This group includes molds like the fuzzy stuff on bread or fruit, and yeasts. Next, Protozoa. These are usually single-celled critters, often found in water, like amoeba or paramecium. And finally, algae. Think tiny plant-like organisms, often green, that live in water and can perform photosynthesis. So, 4 main players to remember: bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and algae. Now hold on. There's another microscopic player we need to talk about, but they're a bit of an oddball. Viruses. Viruses are also microscopic. Yes, but they're different from the other groups. Why? Because they can only reproduce inside the living cells of a host. Whether that host is a bacterium, a plant, or an animal like us. Think of them as tiny hijackers. Outside a host cell, they're basically inactive, like little specks of dust. Many viruses are definitely foes, causing common things like colds, the flu, and coughs, or more serious diseases like polio and chickenpox. So remember, viruses are microscopic, but they need a host to multiply. They're the exception. We said microbes are everywhere, but just how everywhere? Seriously, everywhere. They live in environments where you'd think nothing could survive. Freezing ice-cold climates, boiling hot springs, dry deserts, and soggy marshy lands. They're not just out there, they're also found inside the bodies of animals, including us humans. Some microbes grow on other organisms, while others just exist freely. And structurally, some are simple single-celled organisms, like most bacteria. Some algae and protozoa. Others are multicellular, like many types of algae and fungi. Incredible survivors. Okay, let's circle back to our big question. Microorganisms and us, friend or foe? The truth is, they are both. These tiny organisms play incredibly important roles in our lives and on our planet. Many are beneficial, acting as our friends. They help us make food, digest food, produce medicines, and clean up the environment. But others are definitely harmful, acting as our foes. They cause diseases in humans, animals, and plants, and they spoil our food. It's a fascinating balance. So let's explore both sides of this microscopic coin, starting with the good guys. All right, let's meet our microscopic allies, our helpful friends. These beneficial microbes do amazing things for us. They're involved in making food, like delicious curd, fluffy bread, and cakes. They're crucial for the commercial production of things like alcohol, wine, and vinegar. They have vital medicinal uses. We get life-saving antibiotics and protective vaccines from them or because of them. In agriculture, they boost soil fertility through a process called nitrogen fixation. And for the environment, they are nature's cleanup crew, decomposing organic waste. So many helpful jobs done by these tiny powerhouses. Who loves yogurt or fresh bread? Thank the microbes. Let's see how they help. To make curd, we rely on bacteria, especially one called lactobacillus. When you add a small amount of existing curd to warm milk, these bacteria multiply like crazy, fermenting the milk and turning it thick and tangy. And what about fluffy bread or cake? That's the magic of yeast, a type of fungus. When yeast is mixed into dough, it breathes and produces carbon dioxide gas, CO2. These tiny gas bubbles get trapped in the dough, making it expand and rise. Pretty cool kitchen chemistry, powered by microbes. Microbes aren't just busy in our kitchens, they're industrial workers too. A key process they perform is fermentation. Simply put, fermentation is often the process where microbes, usually yeast, convert sugar into alcohol. That distinct smell when making wine or beer? That's alcohol produced by fermentation. This process is used on a huge scale to make alcohol, wine, and even vinegar. Yeast is often grown on natural sugars found in things like grapes or grains. And who unlocked this secret? The famous scientist Louis Pasteur discovered the science behind fermentation back in 1857. His work changed industries. Now for something really amazing. Microbes fighting microbes. That's the basis of antibiotics. These are powerful medicines that kill or stop the growth of harmful, disease-causing bacteria and some fungi. Where do they come from? Many antibiotics, like streptomycin and tetracycline, are actually produced by other bacteria and fungi. The most famous discovery was penicillin, by Alexander Fleming in 1929. He noticed that a penicillium mold was preventing bacteria from growing nearby, a happy accident. Antibiotics treat many diseases, but be careful. Only take them when prescribed by a doctor, and always finish the course. Misuse can make them useless and harm your good bacteria. And remember, they don't work against viruses like colds or the flu. How can we stop diseases before they even start? With vaccines. Think of a vaccine as a training session for your body's defense system. Here's how it works. Dead or weakened microbes are introduced into your body. Your body sees these as invaders and produces antibodies to fight them off. The really clever part? Your body remembers how to make these antibodies. So, if the real dangerous microbe ever enters your body later, your immune system is already prepared and can fight it off quickly, preventing the disease. Vaccines protect us from serious illnesses like polio, measles, and hepatitis. The pioneer was Edward Jenner, who developed the smallpox vaccine in 1798. Vaccines are crucial for public health, especially for kids, and have even eradicated smallpox worldwide. And here we see that vital process, vaccination in action. Whether it's the polio drops given to children, a program that has saved countless lives around the world, or an injection protecting someone from flu or other diseases, this is how we build immunity. It's a safe and effective way to prepare our bodies to fight off harmful microbes. These campaigns, often involving dedicated health workers and volunteers, are a cornerstone of modern medicine, helping us live healthier, longer lives, all thanks to our understanding of microbes and immunity. Plants need food too, and one crucial nutrient is nitrogen. But most nitrogen is in the air as a gas that plants can't use directly. So, how do they get it? Our microbial friends step in again. Certain bacteria and blue-green algae are amazing nitrogen fixers. They can take nitrogen gas right out of the air and fix it, converting it into usable nitrogen compounds in the soil, like ammonia or nitrates. This process enriches the soil, making it more fertile for plants to grow. A famous example is Rhizobium bacteria, which live in special nodules on the roots of leguminous plants like peas and beans. They're like tiny fertilizer factories. What happens to all the dead leaves, fallen trees, animal waste, and leftover food scraps? Does the world just get buried in garbage? Nope. Thanks again to microorganisms, nature's cleanup crew. These microbes, mainly bacteria and fungi, are decomposers. They break down dead organic waste, dead plants, animals, peels, etc., into simpler, harmless substances. These substances then return to the soil and environment, providing nutrients for new plants to grow. It's the ultimate recycling program. They also help make manure and compost. Without decomposers cleaning up waste, our planet would be a very different, much messier place. Let's see where these decomposers fit in the grand scheme of things. Here's a simple food chain. The sun provides energy for the tree. The deer eats the tree. The tiger eats the deer. But the cycle doesn't end there. What happens when the tree, the deer, or the tiger eventually dies? That's where the decomposers come in. These microbes break down the dead organic matter, releasing vital nutrients back into the soil. These nutrients are then used by producers, like the tree, to grow, starting the cycle all over again. Decomposers are the essential link that keeps ecosystems running smoothly. Okay, we've celebrated the friends. Now it's time to face the facts about the harmful foes. Yes, while many microbes are helpful or harmless, some are definitely bad news. We call disease-causing microorganisms pathogens. What kind of trouble do these foes cause? Their harmful activities include causing diseases in humans, animals, and plants, spoiling food, making it unsafe and disgusting, like this moldy bread and orange. And they can even damage clothing and leather. So, let's learn more about how these harmful microbes operate and how we can protect ourselves. How do these harmful microbes, or pathogens, make us sick? First, they need to enter our bodies. They can get in through the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, through direct contact with someone sick, or they can be carried by animals or insects. Diseases that spread from an infected person to a healthy person are called communicable diseases. Examples include the common cold, chickenpox, and tuberculosis. Think about sneezing. When someone sneezes, they release tiny droplets filled with viruses. If you breathe these in, you might get sick too. Prevention is key. Keep a safe distance, wash your hands, and use a handkerchief when you sneeze. Sometimes, pathogens need a taxi service. Certain insects and animals act as carriers or vectors, transporting pathogens from place to place or person to person. A common example is the housefly. It sits on garbage or poop, picks up germs on its legs and body, and then lands on your uncovered food. Yuck! Then there are mosquitoes. The female Anopheles mosquito carries the tiny parasite that causes malaria. The female Aedes mosquito, often recognized by its striped legs, carries the virus that causes dengue fever. A major prevention strategy is to stop these carriers. Don't let water collect where mosquitoes can breed. Keep surroundings clean and use mosquito nets or repellents. This table gives us a snapshot of some common human diseases caused by microbes. Let's break it down. We see the disease name, the causative microbe, the mode of transmission, and important prevention tips. For example, look at cholera, caused by bacteria, spread through contaminated water, food, prevented by good hygiene, safe food, water, and sometimes vaccination. Or malaria, caused by a protozoan, spread by the Anopheles mosquito, prevented by mosquito control. This helps us understand the link between the microbe, how it travels, and how we can stop it. Humans aren't the only victims of pathogens. Microbes cause serious diseases in animals too. Anthrax, for example, is a dangerous bacterial disease affecting cattle, first studied in detail by the famous scientist Robert Koch. Foot and mouth disease is a viral illness that impacts cattle. Plants also get sick from microbes. Diseases like citrus canker, rust of wheat, and yellow vein mosaic of bindi or okra can devastate crops, reducing the amount of food we can grow. Often, farmers need to use specific chemicals to control these plant pathogens. And here's what those plant diseases we just mentioned actually look like. See these ugly brown spots on the citrus fruit? That's citrus canker, caused by bacteria. This rusty-looking powder on the wheat leaf? That's rust of wheat, a fungal disease that weakens the plant. And look at the veins on this okra leaf. They've turned yellow and thick, disrupting the leaf's function. That's yellow vein mosaic, caused by a virus. These pictures show the real damage microbes can do to our important food crops. Ever felt really sick after eating something that tasted a bit off? That could be food poisoning. It's caused by eating food that has been spoiled by microorganisms. As harmful microbes grow on food, they can produce nasty toxic substances, basically poisons. Eating these toxins makes the food poisonous and can lead to serious illness, including vomiting, diarrhea, stomach cramps, and in some severe cases, it can even cause death. This is why food preservation is so incredibly important, to stop these microbes from growing and producing toxins in the first place. So, how does food become poison? Due to toxins produced by microbes. So how do we stop these tiny foes from ruining our food and potentially making us sick? We use food preservation. Why preserve? Simple, to prevent the attack and growth of microorganisms. How can you tell if food is spoiled? Watch out for bad smells, bad taste, or changes in color. Spoilage is actually a chemical reaction caused by microbes. Think about this. A fresh mango spoils quickly, right? But mango pickle can last for months or even years. Why the difference? Preservation. Let's explore some of the common methods humans have developed to keep food safe and edible for longer. Let's look at some common preservation methods. First, the chemical method. We add substances called preservatives, like common salt or edible oils, which check or slow down microbial growth. Examples include sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfite, often used in jams and squashes to keep them fresh. Pickles frequently use acids as preservatives. Preservation by common salt is an age-old technique. Covering meat or fish with dry salt or adding lots of salt to pickles draws out moisture, which microbes need. Similarly, here are more ways to preserve food. Preservation by oil and vinegar. Adding oil or vinegar creates an environment where bacteria just can't survive well. That's why pickles last so long. Then we have heat and cold treatments. Boiling, like when we boil milk or cook food thoroughly, kills many harmful microorganisms. And the opposite works too. Refrigeration uses low temperatures. It doesn't usually kill microbes, but it drastically slows down their growth, keeping food fresh for longer. Simple, everyday techniques. Ever notice the word pasteurized on milk cartons? Pasteurization is a special heat treatment named after Louis Pasteur. It's mainly used for milk. The milk is heated to about 70 degrees Celsius for just 15 to 30 seconds, then cooled down quickly and stored. This kills most harmful microbes without boiling the milk, making it safe to drink and last longer. It prevents microbial growth. Finally, simple storage and packing. Think about dried fruits, nuts, or chips sold in sealed, airtight packets. This packaging acts as a physical barrier, preventing microbes from getting in and spoiling the contents. Smart storage. Let's revisit nitrogen. Why is it so important? Nitrogen is essential for all living things. It's a key part of proteins, chlorophyll in plants, DNA, and even vitamins. The air is about 78% nitrogen gas, but plants and animals can't just breathe it in and use it. This is where nitrogen fixation comes in. It's the crucial process of converting atmospheric N2 into usable nitrogen compounds. This amazing job is done mainly by certain bacteria and blue-green algae, and also happens during lightning strikes. The nitrogen cycle describes how nitrogen moves, or circulates, between the atmosphere, the soil, and living organisms. It involves fixation, uptake by plants and animals, death and decomposition, and finally, return to the atmosphere. This cycle ensures the nitrogen percentage in the air stays constant. This diagram helps us visualize the amazing nitrogen cycle. Follow the arrows. We start with nitrogen in the atmosphere. Lightning can fix some nitrogen. Nitrogen-fixing bacteria in the soil and in root nodules convert atmospheric N into usable compounds. Plants absorb these compounds through their roots. Animals get nitrogen by eating plants. When plants and animals die, decomposers break them down, returning nitrogen compounds to the soil. Then, other bacteria convert some compounds back into N2 gas, which goes back into the atmosphere. It's a continuous, vital loop where microbes play starring roles. It's a continuous, vital loop where microbes play starring roles.